everybody. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Paleo report for January 29th of 2020. It's a little drizzly outside, so I am using this video of the sunrise that I took at the tip of India the last time that I was over there. So I don't want to get wet. I don't know where I'm going to do the Paleo report, but let's get on with the aspects, eh? The moon is in Aries, and she's going to sextile the sun and come around and conjunct Chiron and Lilith, and then square the moon's nodes. This is on Wednesday, okay, the 29th. Chiron and Lilith are conjunct basically this week. It's exact on Sunday, but waxing and waning, it's going to be full on within a couple of degrees. And then the moon moves into Taurus on Friday, and comes into a conjunction with Uranus and scoots on through and squares the sun on Saturday. So that's at 12 degrees 40 minutes of Taurus to 12 degrees 40 minutes of Aquarius. And on Saturday too, then we have Venus. She's still square Mars. I'm going to talk about that in this report. And leaving that conjunction with Neptune and moving on. But she's going to be sextiling Pluto on Saturday and sextiling Saturn on Monday. So that's a biggie, and we'll talk about that more. And Mercury at that same time is actually going to, on Monday, move into Pisces. So we'll then have Mercury, Venus, and Neptune in Pisces for just a little while. And things will be cruising along. By Monday, the moon moves into Gemini. And on Tuesday, trines the sun, squares Neptune, opposes Mars before she goes into Cancer on Wednesday. And probably the last thing maybe I'll talk about, I don't know, when I look at the camera here, is that Pluto and Saturn are still square to Eris over there in Aries. And let me just kind of look at the camera and talk about it. It stopped raining. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't see the bananas. Anyway. Yeah. Gosh. So many feelings today. I mean, I made a mistake this morning. And I'm really having a hard time. You ever make mistakes and it's really hard to get over it, and then keep going, it brings up all kinds of insecurities and stuff like that. And this is kind of what, it's, if we look at the astrological aspects, Chiron in Aries, and now the moon right on Chiron at the time of my talking here, with Black Moon Lilith there. I mean, Lilith has to do with shame and shadow and stuff that we can feel bad about or have been told by other people are bad about us. And she's moving through Aries now, and Chiron is a lot of the same thing. The wounded warrior, the wounded Aries, and then now the moon comes along and sits on top of both of them, and it's just these feelings of Aries is my charge, my warrior, my strength, my courage, my desires, and it's okay, and my instinct to just be, just say, just do, just be, just go. And then you get Moon, Chiron, Lilith there, and it's wait, stop, hold it. You could hurt somebody, you could be wrong, you could blow it, you could hurt yourself, you could mess up the whole thing. And then at the same time, now we've got this Venus, Neptune, over there in Pisces, very idealistic. And here's what's really going on, that I can feel into these days, is that this Saturn, Pluto is heavy contraction. It's like a big reality check.
These are the laws, these are the rules, these are the boundaries. We're ruling with an iron fist, and there's no compassion. There's just profits, and there's just it's just, this is just like so you know materialism, and it's just just condensed form and structure and weight, and we want results, and it's ambition and drive to the top, and who's ever got the most money wins, and just this heavy stuff, of pressure to perform, to deliver, and expectations, to be and do your duty and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got what? Venus, Neptune in Pisces. Very idealistic. Like, the bar is really high. Neptune, Pisces is pie in the sky. The fantasy, the dream, the imagination of perfection. And it's just like, I want everything to be perfect and right and lovely and beautiful and woo. Square to Mars. Mars over here in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. Again, you know, expand the consciousness, get up, get out, get away, prosperity, abundance, adventure, travel, let's go. So there's this I don't want to say that we're all going bipolar here, but there's this kind of thing where it's like you can get into the despair of the situation that it's so heavy, and there's just so much bad news, people dying, okay, the pandemic happening, and just so much struggle and strife happening in so many areas around our planet and in our personal lives, my personal life, right? Stuff is, you know, just like you can tick off the bad news, bad news, bad news. And then, you know, Mars, square Venus, Neptune is just like, I want out. I want to get away. I want to escape, avoid. I want to numb out. Just want to watch. Give me the remote. Put on a movie. Take something, smoke something, shoot something, whatever. Just like maybe some ibuprofen or some painkillers, for the stressed out, shoulder and neck muscles, from carrying all the stress and anxieties. This is just a very, like I said, we're ending. 2020 is a heavy freaking year, and part of this is just an initiation into how to hold heaviness. And then what have we got? The new moon in Aquarius, Sun moving through Aquarius, Mercury, in the final stages of Aquarius, which is also step up, step out, step away, get outside the box. The only way we're going to make sense out of this situation, and it's in the mantra today, okay, it's just like get the bird's eye view. See the forest for the trees. And that old saying, it's like when you're in the woods, you see the tree in front of you, and you can only, and you see the tree, especially Costa Rica, it's a jungle. You can hardly see anything. It's like the bird's eye view is to get up out of the box, out of this current situation, out of just like what you're being told, and look at the bigger, higher, wider, broader picture. This can be through meditation. Okay, this can be through forms of spiritual practice, through chanting, through breath work, through through lovemaking, through all kinds of processes that get us out of our cerebral left brain fake news kind of situation into this heart space, opening up that crown chakra, and divine intelligence and the bigger, wider, broader plan. This is Mars in Sag, expanding the consciousness, and Venus Neptune is spiritual consciousness. This is what's going to like save the day, and it's a nice sextile that Venus is making to Saturn and Pluto. So things can be moving along, in a little better fashion. I mean, this really does bring me to the Lunation Planner that I just wrote. I mean, I actually wrote it like, a month ago, but it is for this time. And it's a new feature for the New Paradigm Astrology community. We're going to start doing this every month. And it's an overview of the month, only it's written out instead of me just talking off the top of my head. I actually think about what I'm going to say. you know and then it goes, and each week I give another little thing about all the different aspects. Mars is going into its shadow period. It is going to be going retrograde later and come back to 28 degrees Aquarius. So we're going to be doing a little Mercury retrograde time period here. And if we just really look at this time period, I just say like this week, and I say it in the planner, and maybe I'll copy paste that planner, that usually is just going to go out to the community. This month we're putting it out to everybody, so you can get a taste of what it'll be like to get a weekly note of what's going on with the moon and the energies and the planetary aspects. It's kind of like a written paleo report, only shorter, because I talk and talk and talk and talk. Anyway, I was looking over that, and it is like, this is a time of dreaming the dream forward, of going into the meditation. It's more about going in and up than out and about. Jupiter is still closing in on Pluto. We're still finishing that Jupiter-Pluto cycle. It's a couple more months before Jupiter really hits Pluto, starting a new Jupiter-Pluto cycle. So it is a time of letting go. And some of this letting go can be what? Disappointment. Disappointment and disillusionment. This life that I'm leading is not really what I want. I keep thinking of that song. It's an old song. The kicks just keep getting harder to find. I think it's the Rolling Stones, but very long time ago. Things are just not so fun anymore, and the lightness of being, and the joy, and the just things just are so intense and getting more intense and speeding up and getting faster, and there's more threats. There's more threats to our life. The climate and the artificial intelligence and the robots and the 5G and the pharmaceuticals and it's just like there's just so many. It's like the government's turned against the people. And the military is against the people, and the businesses, using the people and exploiting the people, and it's like, who's for the people? So this new moon in Aquarius is about community, and it's about making new friends, and getting together with like-minded souls to support each other. This can be a lonely time, and we can fear loneliness. So it's like we want to take off and we want to step outside, but it's lonely out there. What we want to understand is, guess what? There are some other people out there, and there may be more refugees from 3D. 3D refugees, 3D refugees. Oh, man. So anyway, this the mantra that I wrote, that came to me this morning is like a game of hide and go seek. The truth is not always found. I need to go outside the known and take a look around. There's an old saying, I think it was Robert De Niro in some movie or something, he says, things are not as they appear. It's like we're getting a lot of BS these days, and it's, we've got, a liar in the Oval Office, and, it's just setting a whole new tone. It's kind of lowering the bar of integrity, like all over the place. so that anybody can like say anything these days, and the media, everybody's got a voice, so everybody can just like hammer out and slam out, and it's just that the kinder, gentler, integrity, and think and pause before you accuse, or what it's like the bar is like getting way lower, getting way lower, getting way lower, and the truth is getting harder to find. Now, it's not just kicks that are getting harder to find. The truth is getting harder to find. You ever play the game hide and go seek, when you were a kid, and you can't, somebody gets a good hiding place, then you can't find them. So what do you have to do? You have to go out farther. You have to do your own research. If you can't trust, CNN or Reuters, for the news, okay, you've got to search in other places, like what's really going on underneath, behind the scenes. And this just going on even in our relationships. It's like things are not always being said. Neptune in Pisces can be very secretive. Okay, and Sagittarius is known to exaggerate things, and I caught a fish that was this long, this big. And so kind of embellishing the truth and this, that, and the other thing. So it's coming into honesty, integrity, old-fashioned values. It appears to be where there is not so much self-interest, ambition, drive. It's like everybody's got an agenda these days. I'm on this agenda, I'm trying to get this. I'm posting this in order to get da, 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 da. It's due to get. It's just like it's getting like really, Pluto, Scorpio. It's these are the times too. So to really get out of all the ego and get out of this left brain, get out of this third dimension, is to have this spiritual practice, is to tune in, is to tap in, it's to feel with the heart, to sense with the heart, to see with the heart. I got my eye on here. It's like open and sense the truth. You feel the truth. It's not so much listening to what somebody is even saying. It's the body language. It's their auric field. Okay, it's the look in their eye. And not to be just like taken. It's like we all need to be deep sea divers and not be looking at the surface of things, of events, of even words, but like tap deeper down into the feeling. This is the good Lilith Chiron healing of, okay, that Chiron and Lilith both have to do with the deepest underworld, inner feelings, kundalini, sexual energy, and raising, feeling the juice, moving the juice, enlivening, rewiring ourselves. So it's interesting. This morning, the mirror of intimacy meditation that I had was tolerance. And, this gets into our nervous system, which again does have to do with Aquarius and Uranus, having to do with the nervous system, Mercury also. But this tolerance is just a tolerance is, they're talking about a tolerance for intimacy. And that tolerance has to do with, to make a relationship really last, and to become intimate, is having tolerance for the other person and for ourselves, forgiving, compassion, for messing up, having a tolerance for anger, having a tolerance for disappointment, and not just like running and hiding and taking off, or, numbing out, or it's just like having even a tolerance for how long can you look somebody in the eye? How long can you just, be touched, or touch someone, without, and it's like this, relaxing our nervous systems, allows for intimacy. And when we get stressed and we get uptight and we get insecure or we feel threatened, we close off, we back down, we back up. And this creates alienation, isolation, loneliness, despair, suicide. What I mean, you can go back, and you can go out, out. So, it is having to do with the breath work, and and relaxing that nervous system, and and being in a place where you are maybe being threatened or you are being confronted or you are being challenged or there is some grief or loss or whatever, and just really summoning up our deepest inner power to maintain, to tolerate, to hold space for the chaos. This is an opportunity for each and every one of us to become, spiritual master, guru, Merlins. So, oh man, what a failure. Okay, so anyway, so life is like in a game of hide and go seek. Sometimes the truth is not found. I need to go outside the known and take a look around. Maybe time to be making some choices, some decisions about liberating yourself from limiting conditions that do not reflect. If your life does not reflect you, or you are not fully expressed in your life, this may be a time to change it. So dream on to the heart of the sunrise. That's off of the Fragile album by Yes, I think. Maybe the Yes album. It's another great song. But again, I will have to say farewell, namaste, aloha. So much love for you this week, and wishing you the best.